Hi, I'm Taylor from Active Seniors, and today we're going to go through something a little different. We are going to focus on neck and upper back mobility. And the reason I picked this area is because when I talk to a lot of people, this is a common area of stiffness and soreness, and so I thought, why not do some exercises specifically on this area to help people with this? So I know it's not a usual aerobic class or strength class or anything like that, but it will help a lot of people who do have stiffness in through this area. But I do have to say at the start, as a disclaimer, if you do have any injuries or if you've had any trauma to that area or having like any degenerative arthritis, please be careful with this. Only do what is right for you. And obviously, if you have recommendations from a medical practitioner or a health practitioner, take their guidance on this. Obviously, I don't know your individual case. But in saying that, for most people, these exercises are going to be safe and appropriate, but only do what's right for you. Don't do anything that hurts or causes any discomfort. So the first thing we want to do is get that mid back and shoulder area and lower neck area moving by doing some simple shoulder rolls. Just making some circles with your shoulders. Okay. Now you may hear a bit of clicking and noises in the joints. That's okay as long as it's not causing any pain. Now always circling backwards as well. One of the reasons for that is we tend to round forward with our posture. So we want to make circles with the shoulders going backwards. Okay. Now, if you want to make that a bit bigger, just slide forward. I'm sitting, but you can do this standing. Slide forward on the chair, and now start to get your arms involved as well. Good. And I can actually hear a few noises coming through my shoulders from years of playing cricket. Fast bowling is not good for your shoulder joints. That's why I gave it up early. So making some circles there. So do you notice I'm still continuing to circle backwards, as I said, to try and open up through the chest and the shoulders. The majority of the reason that we have stiffness is, as I said, because of that rounding. And that doesn't just affect your posture, it also puts pressure on your heart and your lungs as well. Now, we're going to move up into the neck and get that moving, and we're going to do what you probably would have seen before if you've watched any of my other videos, and yes, no, maybes. So yes is simply nodding, forward and back, nice and slow with it. So you want to do about 5 repeats. Good. And now no. So turning. And as I said, I have used this before, but it is such a good exercise. You're moving the joints through their full range of motion. Good. And lastly, maybe ear to the shoulder. Now do be careful with this one. This is the stiffest one of the lot. Good. I find this is a particularly good exercise to do when you're underneath the shower. Getting a bit of hot water on the neck just loosens up the muscles that run either side there. Okay, now we're going to get a bit more movement through the upper body. So what you're going to do is slide the hand down beside. As I said, I'm doing this seated. You can do it standing if you like. Just if you're standing, you're obviously sliding your hand down the side of your leg. Good. Now if you want a bit more of a stretch, what you can do is reach over the top with it as well. And reach over the top, really trying to get that stretch through that upper back shoulder area. Okay, good. And then turning as well. So twisting through that area. Nice and gentle with it. But the shoulders are really good to leverage that movement through the mid-back. That mid and upper back area is a really stiff area and it's hard to get movement through. So you can actually use your shoulders to get that movement through that area. The next one I want to do is stretching the muscle that runs from the shoulder up to the ear. Okay? So what you're going to do gently, I want to emphasize the gentle again, look down towards your opposite elbow. So say you're looking down towards your right elbow, you're reaching over the top and then gently pulling down. Now this hand on top is only putting very light pressure on. If you want a bit more of a stretch, what I recommend is you grab underneath the chair there with this other arm. So that pulls the shoulder down. So essentially you're pulling the shoulder down while you're stretching this muscle up into the top of the neck, into the base of the skull. That should feel a really good stretch. I'm really enjoying this stretch here. It's one of my favorites. And you want to hold this stretch for around 20 seconds. Good. And when you're coming out of the stretch, very slowly come up again too. The neck muscles are very powerful. The neck bones themselves are quite small, and the muscles are very strong and powerful. You've got to be very careful with them. You don't want to be too forceful with those muscles. So looking down, and then again, pull over the top. And where you should feel it stretch is running down from just behind your ear, running down the side and the back of the neck there, as I said, out to the shoulder. That's where you should feel it. If not, just move your head around until you feel the stretch best. Good, as I said, holding it for 20 seconds. And then slowly coming up. Okay, good. Next one I want to do is stretch across the back of the shoulder blades. So what I want you to do, bring the hand across the chest. I'm careful not to bump the mic here. And pull the arm across. Now, if you do have any shoulder injuries and this causes any discomfort, please stop. But just stretch across here. Good. And again, like the stretches, you're holding for 20 seconds. So this is stretching out all the muscles that go from the back of the shoulder blade around into the shoulder, but also from the spine to the shoulder blade. Good. You can give it a little bit of a twist if you want with this as well, but it's more the arm twisting than your body twisting. You can go the other side. And pull the other way. And with stretching, you want to make sure you build it as you go. So as you go through that 20 seconds, you can give it a little bit more. And make sure to keep breathing nice and slowly through the stretch as well. Good. Okay. And then relax then with a bit of a shoulder roll as well. I can tell you, I can already feel the difference up and through my neck and upper back and shoulders just from starting doing those stretches. Now we're going to move to some standing stretches and get a bit more involved with the stretches. Now, only do what's right for you, and I'll show you levels of this stretch as well, which will be appropriate. So I'll move the chair out of the way. You want to stand back on the wall. So your heels, backside, shoulders and head are all touching the wall. Okay, so stand up as tall as you can. Now for some people, if you do have a bit of roundedness in your upper back and shoulders, this may be itself a challenge just to get everything touching back on the wall. If that's the case, that's good. If you want a bit more of a challenge, what you're going to do is you're going to put your arms out at 90 degrees and hold them back on the wall. If you can do this comfortably, what I want you to do is one thumb is going to point down to the floor and one thumb is going to point up to the roof. From there, what you're going to do, you're going to look, keep your head on the wall, but you're turning to look at the thumb that's pointing up. And then slowly turn to the other one. Okay? And then turn. So you notice, as I'm turning, one thumb comes up, one thumb comes down. You're always looking at the thumb pointing up. Okay, and you'll feel that stretch at the base of the neck and the top of the shoulders. Now, if you feel that's too much, lower it down. Okay, so you're still keeping the hands on the wall. There. If that's too much, just keep your hands by your side. And then turning. And you want to do that in total for around 30 seconds. So that's really going to target this area here. We call the CT junction, just makes it easier than the cervicothoracic junction, but basically where your neck joins your upper back, which is a very stiff area at nearly all population. So that exercise there, 30 seconds looking at the thumb up, is the best one for it. Okay. The next thing we want to do is straighten up the muscles at the back of the skull here, what they call suboccipital muscles, which are very tight for people. Now, I'm going to show you standing against a wall, but you can do it seated if you find this too much. What you do is you're going to tuck your chin back in towards the wall. So I'm showing you with my fingers. You don't use your fingers, but I'm just demonstrating just to make it more visible. You're tucking your chin back in. But you see, you notice I'm not tilting my head forward. My head stays the same height. I'm just tucking my chin back in. Now, where I feel that stretch is at the base of the skull. You only hold it for a few seconds and then relax. Tuck back in, hold for a few seconds, and relax. Tuck the chin in, and relax. Let's do one more. Good. And relax. Okay, so I'll show you that seated as well, because as I said, for a lot of people that may be too much, back up against the wall, leaning back on it. So if you are doing it seated, just make sure you've got really good posture. So you're sitting up as tall as you can while you do it. Okay, and I'll repeat it again. We're going to do another 5 again, and each time holding, as I said, for a few seconds. So tuck the chin in and relax. The chin in and relax. So I said that's 2, we'll do 5. Chin, relax. Relax, and one more. Chin, relax. Now the way you know you're doing it correctly is you feel that stretch up the back of the neck, and I certainly did while I was doing that exercise. You feel it stretching all the muscles at the back of the neck and up into the base of the skull, which are a hard area to stretch. The last thing I'm going to do, and this may seem a little left of center for most people, but we're actually going to stretch our eyes now. Now most people aren't aware of the relationship between eye movement and neck mobility. Basically, the better your eyes move, the easier it is on your neck. So what we're going to do is start by keeping your head still, but moving your eyes to all corners of vision. So we'll start by looking up as far as you can, hold for a couple of seconds. Now look down as far as you can. Keep your head straight ahead, but the eyes are doing the movement. Back to the middle. Look over to your right as far as you can, and then over to your left. And back to the middle. I'm not sure about mirror imaging, folks, so if I'm pointing the wrong way, my apologies, because we're doing this on camera. Okay, now we're going to look diagonally up to the right, diagonally up to the left, diagonally down to the right, and diagonally down to the left. And you should feel a stretch in behind the eyes as you do that. Might need to blink a few times. It should be comfortable, but you should feel that stretch of the muscles behind the eyes. And now what you're going to do is you're going to stare at your finger, and this time your eyes stay still but your neck moves. So what you're going to do is staring at your fingertip, keep your eyes on your finger, and move your head back, forward, side, side, and then doing diagonals. Diagonally up the other way, diagonally down, diagonally down. Now you'll probably feel that quite stiff in the back of the neck. It's quite a challenging exercise to do if you're holding your eyes while moving your neck. But what it's doing is it's actually mobilizing your neck and eye muscles together at once. Now the better your eyes move, when you go to look and you go to turn to something, your eyes and neck move in sync together. But if they're stretched and they're more mobile, that will assist you. It's also great if you're practicing getting out in the car, you're trying to reverse park, looking back over your shoulder. The better your eyes and neck move, obviously the safer you're going to be. Okay, so there's some really simple exercises for you to do. You don't necessarily need to do all those exercises every day, but what I'd recommend is if you do have stiffness in the area, pick the favorite 2 that I went through today. So pick 2. It might be a yes, no, maybe. It might be some shoulder rolls. It might be the ones up against the wall or the chin tucks. But just a couple that you can integrate into your daily routine to help get this area moving through the upper back and neck. I hope you found it helpful. Please give us a comment below or any further suggestions of other areas of stiffness or soreness that you may want to some advice and stretches with. We'd be happy to help. Thanks so much and have a great day.